Hello, this is Bill Webb, aka Billy Indiana. Today I'm going to do my monthly recap for January 2022. I'm going to talk about the games we played in January, give you a quick update on our 10 by 10 campaign board game challenge that we're doing for the year, and then tell you which of the games did I think were the best of the month. So if you're curious to hear about it, stay tuned. So in the month of January, we got 40 gameplays in of 15 different board games, 11 of which were new to us, so that was pretty exciting. I'm going to count them sort of backwards, starting with the games that we had played before and were returning to the table, sort of from the least played to the most played, and then switch gears and talk about the new games to us, sort of in that ascending order as well. So one of the games that returned to the table for us is Unlock Epic Adventures. This is by Space Cowboys, and we played the second adventure in this trilogy. It was the adventure about the werewolf screening, the movie screening. Really exciting. It was more challenging than I thought for a 1 star, but we enjoyed it. Had some friends over and played this mystery adventure. Had a really good time with Unlock. Next up, we played Lions of Lydia. This is by Bellwether Games, and this is becoming one of my new favorites. I really love the engine building nature of this and the resource management, and there's so many modules that we haven't even started to look into. So we only played it once this month, but played it several times in December last year. So really looking forward to continuing to get this to the table. Next up, we've got Rolling Realms. This is by Stonemaier Games, and played this one 3 times, all solo for this month. But last month we got some gameplays in with some friends. Really still enjoying this one. I got the Rolling Realms realm this time, so we got that meta adventure and enjoy doing that. Mostly I've been playing along with Jamie online as he posts videos pretty regularly that you can kind of follow along and play with if you want to. So this is the next one up on the games that we had played before. And then next up, Seven Wonders Architects. Now, this is a pretty new game to us, but we did play it in December, and we played it 4 times, and played it here at our house, played it at Game Group, got quite a few opportunities to get this one back to the table, and really still enjoying this. And in fact, the more I play it, I think the more I enjoy it. There's just something about the simplicity and the ease that it is to explain to people. Really loving Seven Wonders Architects. So those are the games that were not new to us that came to the table. Now let's switch gears and talk about the games that were new to us. Now the first one is Gloomhaven. Now this is Jaws of the Lion. I don't have the original Gloomhaven, but I've started playing the original Gloomhaven as a campaign with some friends in a game group. And we started this month in January. So it was really exciting to get my first ever play. I'd played some epics of Jaws of the Lion, but it was our first chance to get the original Gloomhaven to the table, and really having a good time with that. Since then, in February, already on February 1st, played 2 more scenarios with those friends. So we're looking forward to continuing through this campaign game. Not the Jaws of the Lion version, but the original. Just the only one I have on hand to show you. The next 3 games are games that I don't own, but I got to play them at various game nights with friends. And the first one in that list, and all of these just played 1 time. The first one is Great Western Trail, the 2nd edition. We had some friends that invited us over and taught us how to play. Really loved it. It was a longer game, and maybe it was just because we were learning it for the first time. And while they had played Great Western Trail, one of them, it was the first time they had played the 2nd edition. So I think it might go quicker the 2nd time around or the 3rd time around if we had more chances to play it. Really interesting mechanisms. I like that rondel. And Great Western Trail was a fun one to get to the table. Another new one at a different game group was Pax Pamir 2nd edition. This game was really unique and intriguing, and I've been intrigued by it for quite some time because I've heard so many people say how unique it is, and I really loved my first experience with it. I'm hoping to get that one back to the table, although I don't own it. It was, again, at a game night, so hopefully I can borrow it from a friend or get back with that group of friends and try playing it again. Next up was Space Base. One of the nights at a game group, we had a little bit of time at the end, wanted a quick game, and they taught me how to play Space Base. Just played it that 1 time. I didn't love it, but I did enjoy it. It was a fun game, but it's not probably one I would buy, but I'd always be happy to play it. It was a nice little fun game. Next up is Aeon's End. Now, this is the War Eternal box. We were gifted both Aeon's End and the War Eternal expansion. I think some other expansions mixed into the boxes as well. And they actually came over and taught us how to play when they gifted it to us. So a double gift, such a blessing. We only played it the 1 time, but they also gave us Aeon's End Legacy. And since we're going through a campaign/legacy 10 by 10 challenge this year, Aeon's End Legacy is going to make that cut. And so if you watched my 10 by 10 challenge video, I'll link it up above here. You can see what the other games are that we're doing doing in that challenge. But this was a fun game that we were able to play that one time. Now we got a couple of small games that I do own. So this is Tides of Time by Portal Games, and this one we got to play twice. It's a new game that we received just around Christmas, and it's an interesting little card game. It's got some fun little twists to it. My wife and I enjoyed a couple plays of this, Tides of Time. Next up, another small box game, and this is Artifacts Inc. by Red Raven Games. And this one is, again, another one that we just received around Christmas. I guess it was maybe early in December when we received it, and we got it to the table in January, played it a couple times. My wife and I really enjoyed this one too. It was an interesting group of mechanisms and an interesting games play. So where we were, using the dice in different places and putting them around and using them in different ways. A really clever game. We enjoyed that one. Got a couple plays out of Tides of Time. Next up is a game I do own, but I don't have on hand because I loaned it to a friend, and that is Unforgiven, the Lincoln Assassination Trial. It is a lot like Seven Wonders Duel, but I enjoy it better because the theme feels more clear as you're playing it, at least for us. It has a lot of the tug-of-war things of Seven Wonders Duel. It's got the pyramid of cards where you can see some, and you're unveiling some as you go and trying to decide how to run that risk. Really clever game, really enjoying it. Looking forward to when I get it back from my friends so that my wife and I can get some more plays of that. Played that twice in January. Next up is Between Two Cities. Now, this is a review copy that just recently received from Stonemaier Games, and I've played it 3 times so far. My wife and I played it once, and we had some friends over and played 4-player games of it a couple times. I want to play it solo. There's a couple different ways to play solo, so I want to try that. And then another 2 or 4-player game, whatever we can arrange, and then I'll be putting a review together hopefully in the next couple of weeks. So Between Two Cities is a game that we've enjoyed. A very simple game to learn and a pretty easy game to play. I'm looking forward to playing it a few more times and posting that review in the near future. And then the next one, Lost Ruins of Arnak. Now, this is a game that I actually won in an Instagram contest a couple of months ago, and it just sat on the shelf. I kept wanting to play it, couldn't get to it. And then we had some friends that said, hey, can you teach us that game? And so I said, okay, I'm going to commit to learning it. And then we're going to come over and teach you how to play it. It was the same friends that taught us Great Western Trail. So we had a great day of gaming with these 2 games. So I played it once with my wife, played it once with them. Actually played it twice with my wife and played it once with them, and then played it again with the Leaders expansion or Expedition Leaders expansion at a game night. I don't have the expansion, but a friend of mine did. So played this one 4 times, 3 times just the base game and once with the expansion. The expansion was really interesting to me. I love the way that the research track changed up. The different variable player powers I liked, but I don't know. I want to try that some more. They almost felt a little underpowered to me. And I think it's because so many times when you have those variable player powers, it just feels like the one you have is awesome, but everyone feels that way. This time it just felt like it was kind of a strain to figure out the best way to optimize it, and maybe just because it's going to take some more plays. So overall, I love the game Lost Ruins of Arnak, and I did like the expansion. I'd like to try more with those variable player powers and see if I can get a better handle on that. So looking forward to more plays of that, but 4 times we played Lost Ruins of Arnak in January. And the number 1 game in terms of plays is The Adventures of Robin Hood by Michael Menzel, and it's a Cosmos production. Now, this is a campaign adventure narrative game, and we played this 13 times in the month of January. So this was one of the 10 by 10 campaign/legacy games that we've challenged ourselves to play, and we're hoping to do it kind of month by month. Obviously, there's 10 games in 12 months, so there'll be some carryover, but our goal was to play this one 10 times at least in January, and it took us 13 plays to get all the way through because we played every branching story, and there were a couple times where we failed and had to replay certain ones. It is interesting how they do the replay. You don't have to fully flesh out the same story because there's different storylines as you go through it the second time. That is, I think, probably my number 1 weakness for that aspect of it, that it's different, but there are some things that I wish they could have made it a little bit more like maybe role player adventures in the way you fail forward, and you don't have to necessarily rework that same adventure with just a few twists and turns and a few different elements to the story. But it wasn't a terrible thing. It was just kind of a minor nitpick. I think could have been done better, but I was talking with my wife about it. I think that would have been just incredibly difficult to accomplish. So overall, we had a blast with this game. Loved all 13 plays and definitely accomplished goal number 1 for January on our 10 by 10 challenge. So as I reflect back over the month, you've got a quick update there on our 10 by 10 challenge. You've heard about the 15 games that we played. What were my favorite experiences of the month? Well, I'm going to talk about two of them for two different reasons. One of them was Gloomhaven, and that is not even because I think it's going to be my favorite game of all time, but I'm just having a really fun time living out that campaign with some friends of mine. It is clever. I like the initiative. I like the card play for battle. I like just a little bit of luck in there, but there's a lot of determination as well. I like the story narrative. We're using Foreteller. We're using the app as well to track a lot of the kind of fiddly things that some people complain about. I don't know that it'll rise up into one of my top games of all time, but I look forward to going every Tuesday because we have so much fun doing that. So the experience of playing Gloomhaven and the joy of doing that with a group of good friends is a lot of fun and something that was a highlight for me in January. And then the other one was Adventures of Robin Hood. Now, I know some people will say this game's too easy. Some people will say it's too much luck. And I can't really argue with those in some ways. It is a fairly easy game, but I think it's nice and easy to teach. It's nice and easy to learn. I didn't find it particularly nice and easy to win because of that luck element. Now, we did win most of the time, but when we're playing this style of game, actually, we prefer if we win most of the time. I know some people like it so hard that they rarely win. That's not really the style that my wife and I have. We would rather win most of the time, but always feel like we barely made it. And so that felt just right for us. It didn't feel too easy, even though it was very easy to learn. I love the tutorial onboarding. If you want to hear a full review, I can link it up above. And I did a full 3x3x3 review of Adventures of Robin Hood. But this is my #1 game of the month of January. Really loved it. And it was really great to be able to accomplish step 1 of our 10 by 10 challenge for the year. So there you have it. That is my board game review for the month of January 2022. The games we played, the games we loved, the games that returned to the table, and new games to us. Leave some comments down below. Tell me what games were your highlights in the month of January. I'd love to hear about it and maybe get some new ideas on games I'll want to try. If you enjoyed this video, it'd be terrific if you give it a thumbs up, and I would love it if you'd choose to subscribe to the channel. As always, thanks for watching. This is Billy, Indiana, signing off.